do. Welcome, everyone. Great to see you all, and welcome to our webinar. Today, we're going to tell you about an amazing trip that if you choose to go, it will transform your life. Our guests today will talk to you about their expertise. I'm going to briefly introduce them. Sarah Neely. Sarah, do you want to say a little bit about how we came together and what we know about each other?
Sure. So Vicki and I met many years ago when I was living in London at the time and was somehow Googling things on the internet and found that she was in Rwanda giving a tour. And I said, I want to go on the next tour. And she pointed out that that was wonderful, but she didn't have any planned. Emails back and forth. Fast forward a few weeks, she was going to Rwanda, but on a working trip. And I said, sure, I would love to join. And so I arrived having only exchanged a few emails back and forth. And when we met, we just hit it off perfectly. I had planned to stay for 5 days. I extended my trip not once, but actually twice, and spent nearly 3 weeks there with her and have been back 3 other times since then. And I'm super excited to go again this year.
And you became a board member for our foundation.
I did.
So thank you, Sarah. We'll be hearing more from you. And Adoranke, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everybody. As I always say, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. My name's Adoranka Badamosi Wilson, and I actually live in Bermuda. And Vicki and I met in 2023 when she and I were part of an organization that we both belong to. And we got paired up in a breakout room and just started talking. And we haven't stopped talking since then. And during our many conversations, I learned about the work that she's doing in Rwanda. And last year when we met in person at a conference that we both attended in Ohio, we talked again about what was going on in Rwanda. And I said to her at the time, I'm going with you. And so that's how I got to be a part of this amazing experience. And I like to think of myself as a global traveler. I've been all throughout Southeast Asia. I've been throughout Europe, the Caribbean. I've been to 9 countries on the continent of Africa. However, I have not been to Rwanda. So this is going to be my first time, and I get to experience it through this program. And I am thoroughly excited and looking forward to seeing everybody that will join us.
Oh, thank you, Adoranka. And Sarah is calling in from Florida.
Yes.
Even though there's an acacia tree behind her, like she's in Africa, but we know better. But we do have the person who wins the award for longest distance is Christophe, who is in Rwanda, and it is 11 o'clock at night. Christophe, are you 10? Is it 10 o'clock? Hello, Christoph. Is it 10
Yes,
o'clock for
yes,
you?
it's 10, yeah, 10 o'clock.
God bless you for being here at 10 o'clock at night. And you and I have known each other for 20 years. Do you want to talk a little bit about how we met and our relationship?
Pleasure to talk how we met. Vic and I, we met in 20 years ago, and initially we met at the place where I was working and where she was staying. She was coming for work, and we became friends. And the most important thing, at the beginning, she was my mentor,
Oh.
my coach. And few years later, she became my employer.
And we're still
So you
friends.
can
That's a good sign.
yeah. So you can imagine how you can start as a mentee and then end up being an employee of your mentor. So you understand the bond we had together for the years we've been together.
Yeah.
And we had, for the time we've been together, I would say that it's a time which has actually transformed my life. And from that time up to now, I learned from her that whatever you need the world to be, you are the first person to work toward that change.
Mm,
And that's the work I'm doing now, and that's the work she's wanting to support for it to reach out to millions of people in Rwanda.
yeah. Thank you, Christoph. We're
And
going to talk more about how you're going to be involved in the tour and also your latest organization that we are proud to support. And I am wearing a dress that his organization made when I was just there in March. So we'll talk about that. So for a moment, I'm going to be on the stage by myself while I tell you the story of how I first got to Rwanda in 2005 and how it changed my life. When I started this presentation, I said, this is an opportunity for all of us to be changed. Rwanda has changed me in ways that I did not expect. And it started when I went to Rwanda in 2005, the year I met Christoph, with World Vision. I had heard about the genocide in Rwanda and realized I wanted to do more. And we, with World Vision, we were visiting people that had been received donations. And the first people, one of the first groups we visited was a child-headed household. Now, during the genocide against Tutsi in 1994, 1 million people died in 100 days. The UN called it an African problem when in fact it was a human rights violation. And when it was over on July 4th, 1994, what was left was a country that was devastated. And yet they rise. They did not have a strong culture of orphanages. So all these children that were left without families, many of the families around them would take them in. But for many children, everyone was full and no one had room. And there were what were called child-headed households. There were 65,000 child-headed households, families run by children for children. And the young woman that you see in this picture in the red dress was one such young girl. She was in her young teens, and she was left with these 4 siblings, and she began to raise them by herself. And when you think about that, and it speaks to the human spirit, how much we're capable of when we don't know it. But what she did was begin to raise this family, and World Vision found out about her, and they built her a house. And the house they're standing in front of is the house that they lived in. And it was modern by any standard, cement walls, cement floor, windows, bars for security. And they were so grateful that they invited us in for a meal. Now, usually when you have a meal in a home, everybody has dishes and you all sit around a table. They didn't have any dishes. They had one platter. And so this platter that you're going to see was what they brought out for us. And all they had was forks in it. And together we had this meal that literally changed my life, because I thought, there is nothing going on in my life that I can't deal with if children can get to the point where they can not only survive and thrive, but be hospitable and be thankful. And that was the beginning of my journey in Rwanda. And when I left in 2005, I said, I must do more. And so in this webinar, I'm going to ask you to think about, what more can you do in the world that you did not think was possible? And today we're going to show you why Rwanda should be your next must-see destination. So if you're online and you can say, I don't know if we can see everybody online, but are you interested in engaging, experience, or embracing Rwanda? All three is what we're doing. And if you can put anything in chat that we can see, that would be great. Hello, Kit. We're wonderful to see you here. And I don't know that we can see your comments, Kit, because I know you're coming in the live stream from LinkedIn. But what you're going to see is the beauty of Rwanda and the magic of this country. And again, it will remind you that anything is possible when you watch this. So we're going to talk about how I first got to Rwanda. Beyond World Vision, I started a foundation for Rwanda. And we chose the lowly brick to be our symbol. And we chose a brick because a brick represented the weight of a malnourished child that could not be comforted. This brick was the burden that a woman carried in a path as she struggled to find a way to feed her family. And this brick was also the color of the soil that a woman saw when she was being violated face down in the dirt. But this brick also represents hope. And in this picture is one of my dearest friends, John Paul Samputu, who is an international African musician worldwide. He won the Cora Award, which is the equivalent of the African Grammys. And there were bricks everywhere. So we decided to call ourselves the Itafari Foundation. And in this foundation, we had 5 areas we worked in. We had a child sponsorship program. We imported the beautiful jewelry like this and the baskets from Rwanda, and we sold them at our fundraisers. We supported child-headed households through a GOAT program. We built a high school, and we supported microloans, microfinance, which was started by Muhammad Yunus in India, to help people come together and support one another. And Christoph is also going to talk a little bit about that when we get to him, about he continues that work. Because I don't believe people want charity. They want to be empowered to take care of themselves. So in this discussion, we're going to talk today about safety, accessibility, a complete tour to give you a great idea of where we're going to go and what we're going to be. I've added something. I got to quit adding stuff to this tour, but I'm super excited. And I'm going to blame Christoph. He had a great idea. So I said, yes, we're going to do that. So we're going to break down this trip and go through the highlights. And first, we're going to start with a short video. And it mentions the days. I reordered the days a little bit, but I like the video. So James, if you could show that video right now, that would be great.
Rwanda isn't just a place to visit. It's a home that welcomes you with open arms. And for 12 unforgettable days, you'll do more than see this incredible country. You'll experience it as a guest, walking with respect, listening with intention, and leaving transformed. Your journey begins in Kigali, where you'll land in a city known for its beauty, innovation, and resilience. The next day, you'll explore its vibrant streets, learning the stories that shape Rwanda's present and future. On day 3, you'll dive into a conversation about financial freedom across the continent, an opportunity to see how Rwanda is leading the way in economic empowerment. The next 2 days take you deeper into the heart of the community, visiting Education for All in Kigali Parent School, where young minds are shaping the future. Then on day 6, you'll experience Rwanda's rich coffee culture with a visit to Matriarch Coffee Company, where every cup tells a story of empowerment and craftsmanship. Next, it's time to connect with Rwanda's breathtaking natural beauty. Days 7 and 8 take you to Mantis Akagera Game Lodge, where you'll witness majestic wildlife, golden savannas, and the serenity of Akagera National Park. Returning to Kigali, Day 9 introduces you to Gahaya Links, a company empowering women through the art of weaving, each handmade piece carrying the spirit of Rwanda's resilience. Then on Day 10, you'll immerse yourself in the music and culture of Rwanda, feeling the rhythm and soul of a nation that celebrates life through art. As your journey nears its end, Day 11 is a moment to reflect, to say farewell, not just to Rwanda, but to the people and experiences that have become a part of you. And on Day 12, you'll carry those memories home, not as a tourist, but as someone who walked gently, listened deeply, and truly experienced the heart of Rwanda.
That was a short summary of what we're going to be doing, and I've got extra things I'm adding. So first, I'm going to go through the days so you get an idea of the actual flow and rhythm of our trip. So when you land in Kigali on day 1, we're going to have you just get in the hotel, and the hotel is called Heaven. Isn't that a lovely name? So Heaven started as a restaurant, and it was meant to train young people how to be in hotels, how to be in restaurants and serve. And Sarah and I have been to Heaven. It's a very funny thing. You want to go to Heaven for dinner? Yeah, let's go. Well, now they have a gorgeous hotel, and that's where we're staying. I think it's really important to rest and reflect and have a place to do that of beauty. And this is this is the hotel. And during that first day, if Adaranka could come back up, you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing with photography and how we're going to do that. And then we'll keep you on stage for a little bit because I'm going to talk about the first day, and also that's about you too. So James, if you could add Adaranka.
Hi, I'm here. So in addition to being a consultant, I'm also a photographer. And so what Vicky and I are going to do is we're going to have an online session before we even get to Rwanda, where we bring everybody who will be going with us together. So we get to know each other so that even if you're traveling by yourself, you will have a friend by the time you arrive. You will know other people, you will know their names. And as I mentioned, I am a photographer. And so what we will do is I will and encourage you to bring your phone with you, and don't buy any expensive equipment. Please do not, because we're going to have a photography tutorial. And then I'm going to offer a mindfulness photography experience where we practice mindfulness through the images that we take. And we're also going to, and Vicky and I are going to work out exactly when. We're going to do a photography tour. And a photography tour is different from a regular tour in that we go a little slower. We stay in places a little longer than a regular tour does, because you as the photographer, you'll want to capture things the way you see it in your head. And so we'll be spending time doing that. We'll be taking closer looks. We'll be taking steps back. We'll be turning around, and we'll be looking up. We'll be looking down. We'll be looking really intensely for the amazing images that I know we will find. So that's just some of the work that we'll be doing, and some of the work that I do during our time in Rwanda.
When you think about it, and you think about being mindful in photography, how many among us have taken thousands of pictures and we like 2 or 3?
Yes.
And this is an opportunity to understand what you're looking at and take home an image that you say, I need to frame that. It captures my memory so beautifully. I have nothing else I can do but frame it. So I'm really excited. And then once everybody gets settled, then we start our tour on the first day of the actually being in country. And it's really important to do two things on the first day. One, kind of get your sea legs on where you're going. So we're going to do a city tour. And it's not something we're putting together. It's an actual city tour that Kigali has. We'll get on a bus, we'll spend the day, and we actually go to the genocide memorial in Kigali that was built by the Clinton Foundation. If you don't know the story, President Clinton says his biggest regret was ignoring the genocide in 1994 when he was president. And he said he'll spend the rest of his life making up for it. And I have met President Clinton and talked to him about Rwanda. And to this day, he's still passionate about changing it. But this is a hard place to be. If you've never been to a genocide memorial or a Holocaust memorial, they are frighteningly similar. Nothing changes. And yet we have hope. And so at the end of that day, which is, I don't want to push you too hard because you're just getting to Rwanda. You're going to be a little tired. So we'll have a nice day. We'll go back to heaven. I love saying that. Go back to heaven. And then, Adoranka, do you want to talk about how we're going to debrief?
And thank you, Vicki, because it will be, in many cases, a very emotional experience. What we'll do after the visit is sit down and debrief. We'll get to talk about what that experience looked like and felt like for us individually. And this is an optional exercise.
Exactly.
If you're not keen to do something like that, that is absolutely okay. But for those that want to be able to talk about the experience in a meaningful way, we will provide that opportunity to just sit down and really process what that looks like, what it felt like, and what we as people can do to be different, to make sure it doesn't happen again under our watch anywhere in the world.
Mm. And in fact, not only is the debrief optional, going to the memorial is optional.
Yes.
That may not be your thing, and there is no judgment. So after our city tour, which we hope you would enjoy, we'll get you back to the hotel so you can relax, whatever makes you happy. But that is a full day. It doesn't sound like it, and it's not an 8 to 5 day. It's, we'll start later in the morning after a good breakfast. And by the way, this tour includes all lodging, all transportation, all meals, alcohol if I buy it. Otherwise, you're on your own. So, if I decide to buy a bottle of wine for the table, that's good. That's not on me, you. But if you would like more to drink, you are welcome to do that and just add it on your own bill. And all tickets into places like the Genocide Memorial, into the Akagera Game Park. The only thing that's not included is the optional gorillas trek, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it will be an opportunity to really, just like when you get there, not be thinking about transfers and tickets and none of that. It's all taken care of. So the next day, we're going to meet with the Minister of Education, who is the man standing there on the left, Joseph Nsenyimana. He's actually a friend I met in Portland, Oregon. He worked at Intel. He was an executive. He retired, went back to Rwanda, where he is from, and was called on by the president of the country to run education. I just was there in March and I met with him. We had a lovely coffee, and he is working 7 days a week with passion, because what Rwandans know is that education is the key to ending poverty. And so 12th grade is guaranteed in Rwanda. And Joseph has agreed to come and speak to us. And he may bring some students with us to talk about the value of education. We're also going to visit Kigali Parent Secondary School. Itafari built that school. And so Sarah has been there. We get to possibly teach in the classroom. We actually did this one time. And Sarah, were you there when we taught in the classroom?
Yes.
Yeah, it was who did you teach? What class did you go into?
I don't remember which grade it was, but I had a teacher from, I think, Seattle with us. And so she came with a full lesson and was fully prepared. But I remember after we were done, we met up with you and learned all about John's experience that blew our minds. We didn't have the answers to any of their questions.
These kids, I literally thought when we went into the classroom, I'm going to teach them Hakuna Matata, 6th graders. Get in the classroom. I had a young girl with me, Danielle, who also went on the trip. And we're standing in front and they greet us. And it's like, so I'm getting ready. And I say, do you have any questions? And the little kid raised his hand. He goes, what, Mama, why is the capital of your country on the East Coast? And Danielle looked at me and she goes, you take this one. I'm like, now, well, you don't know, but I was not a great history student. But I know about the ships that came over. I quickly do the map of the U.S. I had 3 ships coming into Mayflower, coming into wherever. Where do they come? Plymouth Rock. And I did my best. And they were like satisfied. John, my husband, who was teaching another 6th grade class, came out of the room and I said, well, how'd that go? He said, John was building an airplane at the time. And he said, I mentioned the airplane. And then I had to discuss thermodynamics with them. So these kids are not only being educated, they're being educated by teachers who are being paid well to come into the classrooms and lift these kids. So it will be a wonderful day. I've run into children all over the world who have said, I was there when you came to the school. And they've gone to Harvard, they've gone to universities around the world, and they're also giving back to Rwanda. So it's wonderful to go visit. And then we are going to visit Christoph's project, which is Education for All. So Christoph, could you come and tell us a little bit about your latest project? And what we're looking at on the screen.
Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as you just said, Education for All is a charity which was created in 2019 in the continuation of the work which was being done by Tafari Foundation by the time you got sick and could not continue. And I didn't want to leave that legacy of changing the world. So we started in 2019, and we are mostly based in eastern province of the country. So our main focus is to empower women. As we speak now, in February, we had the graduation of 17 women, which actually completed 100 women which are being trained by our organization in trade tailoring. So when they graduate, we gave them a certificate of completion and a sewing machine.
And so Christoph, to interrupt, what do those sewing machines cost each? How much?
The sewing machine each costs $150. And when they graduate, they get certificate and the sewing machine, and they can go back into their community and start the work. What is different from the last cohort is that the 17th who have been graduated in February, they didn't want to go back into their community, each one with her own sewing machine. So they decided to form a cooperative, an association. And from that experience, from that courage they had, we had a model of bringing the student in one center and get trained by one trainer. So now, since they decided to form an association, now we no longer have the center of one person as a trainer, is association which has become a center, and they will all be the trainers. So all the new cohort will be trained by the association, and the intention is actually to grow up the association so that the training fees which was received by one person will be going to the association.
You know, I just had a vision, Christoph, of you having an entire school of classes. I really did.
That's it.
Do you
So
want to talk about the picture on the right when I was visiting?
yes. So this picture was taken
Right
in
there.
March when Vicky visited the association. And during the visit, there's something incredible which actually was taught to the trainees in the association, that they need to be buffaloes. So Imbogo, literally translated in Kinyarwanda. The idea behind is that the buffaloes goes to affront the challenge, and the cow goes away fleeing the challenge. So she taught the association that they need to be buffaloes, meaning they have to affront the challenges they are facing so that they can get to the objectives they are fixed for themselves. And now I can tell you that on Monday I visited them, and many of the questions, the issues they had posed during your visit, they are being solved by themselves, just to show they have become buffaloes.
Imbogo. They are Imbogo. And I want to show you this. Let me stand up here. So when I was there, they made me this beautiful dress. And you want to talk, I know it's supposed to be a little bit of a secret, but do you want to talk about what their intention is for all of our visitors when we go and meet them? And we're going to go to a graduation, correct?
Yes. So by the time you'll be here, we'll be having a graduation, and they would like to make a dress for each and everyone who will be there.
Very nice. Very nice. And the other thing is, part of the price of this trip is a donation. So I got a little ahead of myself just because I got excited. And I've already given Christoph $2,500 towards our ultimate donation for this trip. And Christoph, can you talk about how you're using that money and what it's going to go for?
So during the training, apart from the equipment they get after graduation, but there are some of the equipment they use during the training, the fabrics, the needles, the thread, in the process of being trained. So the $2,500, which was already donated by Vicky, will be used in actually acquiring all those equipment they'll be using during the training.
They also, when I was there, when we were having this meeting, they said they needed more material. And I got that. So I said, all right, we'll give you money for material. And one of my lessons I always teach people is, if we don't ask for what we need, we won't get it. And they actually said, I said, well, what do you need? They said, well, we actually need material. I said, okay, we'll give you material. And I could have knocked them over. They were so shocked. But I think that's part of the process of teaching young people, don't beg, but ask for what you want. And there's a good chance you can get it. So I am very excited to continue our good work with Education for All, helping these young people become inspired, empowered, and independent. Because they can, if this dress is really lovely, and if they can create these things and sell them at the market, they'll be great. So wonderful work, Christoph. I cannot wait. And Christoph, we've already talked about this. Christoph will be accompanying us on some days. I'm going to steal him and use him, which is just because he's wonderful. He'll act as our translator. We'll always have a translator when we're out in the countryside, because the 3 languages spoken in Rwanda are English, French, and Kinyarwanda. Kinyarwanda is the language of the people. And while we'll learn some phrases, none of us are fluent, but obviously Christoph is, and he can act as our translator because you really want a good translator. I've often preached in churches and I'm like, I don't know that they're saying what I'm saying because they're preachers, but I always laugh. I thought, well, I'll just do my best here. So thank you, Christoph. Very excited about spending the day with you in the cooperative. So thank you for your good work and for continuing the good work from the Itafari Foundation.
Thank you, Vicky. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Then on day 5, it's Sunday. And Sunday is a chance to rest, go to church if you want to. We'll organize that. We'll go to a great brunch. The food in Kigali is wonderful. And a chance to rest by the pool or sit around or do some photography, whatever you'd like. But it's kind of a day of rest. And again, if you want to go to church, we'll organize that. They have all faiths there, including Jewish and Muslim. So whatever is your pleasure. Jewish would have to be on Saturday, and I'm not sure about Muslim, so let me back that up. But anyway, you get my point. We want to honor you and whatever faith you use in your life. And then the next day, Monday, we are going to talk about financial inclusion. Now we're going to have a special speaker who is going to talk about how women in a village can start using digital payments. There is cash-based economies are corrupt just by their nature. And what we want to do is make sure that we are offering financial inclusion around the world. And we'll have a special guest speaker. And by the way, all of our speakers, all of our guests, none of them are paid. They're doing this because they want to. There's no remuneration. For education for all, that was my decision. Christoph never asked for anything, but I want to support young people, so that's what we're doing. But otherwise, nobody here gets paid to participate in our tours and engagement. So we'll do that in the morning. We'll hear about financial inclusion, and it's so exciting what's going on. In the afternoon, we're going to visit with Joy Dungutse at Gahaya Links. That is Joy in the picture. She is my sister. We have known each other for 20 years as well. And she started with 6 women weaving under a tree and now has over 4,000 women who weave baskets, make clothes, and make Rwanda beautiful through crafts. And there's going to be a chance to do some weaving ourselves. I was just talking to Joy when I was there, and she said she'll have some weavers come in from the countryside and teach us how to weave. And these are the items that you can buy. They'll also be available. So you can buy items in the shop there at Gahaya Links, take home things. They're so beautiful. This is a very small basket, but we have bigger ones and we have bowls. And you'd be surprised what you can get in your luggage when you want to. So Sarah, I'd like to bring you back up and talk about this lovely basket that you're weaving.
So when we're there, you will learn that it takes, I think it was about an hour to 2 hours for them to build one of those baskets, a basic basket, not the super fancy ones. So I sat down one morning with the women and was like, okay, I can do this. The picture you see there is after 2 hours. And that arrow is pointing to my basket that looks like maybe it would hold maybe a quarter if I'm really lucky, compared to the basket that Vicky is holding that is much larger, could probably hold 5 or 6 oranges.
Yeah, she got this far. That's all. And so did I.
So, but it's the most amazing experience to see, obviously it takes lots of practice and I was not experienced. And maybe this year I'll get a little bit bigger. Probably not much bigger.
What? Have you been practicing for the last 10 years? I don't think so, Sarah. I think we're stuck. I think our baskets are going to stay tiny, but
it was a wonderful experience. And to hear the women, I mean, they thought I was doing fantastically until I suddenly looked over and their bowls were this big and mine was, teeny.
They're very patient with us, but it's a wonderful experience. And again, it's so remarkable because you see what is possible. And by the way, all of these designs, let me go back a little bit. These designs, these are not done by machine. There's not a pattern. Joy lays them out on a piece of paper and they actually work. And here's the thing, if you notice, everything is symmetrical. They're not like off. And this is all done by eye. And they're true artisans. So I look forward to sitting next to you on the ground again, Sarah.
Yep.
Make another basket. So there's Yego means yes. Oya means no. And I got about 10 oyas to every Yego for every stitch I did. They go, oya, oya, oya. Had to pull it back out, put it back in. But it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. So I love this picture of you too, Sarah.
Thank
And
you.
we need a big arrow to point to your whole basket. But it was a good job. Good job. So thank you for that. Then the next day, we're going to head out into the countryside. And we're going to visit a coffee cooperative and a vodka making plantation. And they make, obviously, vodka with potatoes. And I actually brought a bottle of this home. And we're going to go visit both a coffee cooperative. It may not be matriarch. I'm going to get closer to the Virungu Mountain Spirits. So we may choose another coffee company. But Virungu has a beautiful cafe. So we'll have a wonderful lunch there. But we'll also visit a coffee plantation and you'll see how coffee is made. And it's a great, great experience. And then we're going to go to the Center for Global Health Equity campus. And James, if you can play that short video right now.
UJG provide education for quality service delivery in Rwanda for Rwandan and others. So we are a global institution to educate global young cadre that will be leaders to create health systems across the world with the philosophy of quality care in remote area focused on access for the vulnerable. Our students will have state-of-the-art education in clinical practice, plus strategic thinking and social determinant knowledge to make sure that the patient they will have the most of the clinical service they will give.
Our students need to understand the science, the biology, the medications, but at the same time, the understanding of what it takes at the community level to craft these and tailor these according to the community.
Whether you call it social medicine or One Health, or look at community interactions or how health and social justice come to be, we don't think it should be an option not to understand these other questions.
We are oriented such that our students are patient-focused, they are community-oriented, and they are globally aware. And we cannot train quality health professionals without a hospital where our patients go to.
Students will be coming to the hospital, so we want to give them a high standard experience where they will get any diagnostic capacity that they need to learn from, where they will get a sense of the comprehensive care of patients from medical, surgery, psychological, intensive care, and so forth. So there is that urgency for us to make sure that we upgrade services in Butaro by adding on ICU services, radiotherapy, and the oncology service, not only for the districts, but for the national level.
So we have, for me, 3 universities. A university with walls in the form of UGHE. We have a university with patients, which is Butaro Hospital. Then we have a university without walls, which is the community. The 3 of them are very important.
In Rwanda, so you saw the white guy talking was Paul Farmer, who started Global Health Equity. and is the co-founder of Partners for Health, Partners in Health. And he was one of my professors at Harvard. And I got to talk to him about our work in Rwanda and his work in Rwanda. He tragically died a couple of years ago, but not before he established the Center for Global Health Equity campus. And the class I took from him was called Global Health Equity. He wanted to make sure that everyone in the world had access to medical care. He started the first cancer oncology department in Rwanda. And his passion for Rwanda and also Haiti, where he also worked a lot, and also in the world, was something I've never seen in my life. At Harvard, he always encouraged students to go on these trips and go and see these places and understand who they were serving. And then there's the whole issue of community workers. They have trained large amounts of people in the community to be healthcare workers. So not everybody can get to a hospital, not everybody can get to a clinic, but health workers can help everyone in the community. So it's super exciting. And what I've added just recently, thank you, Christoph, it was his idea, so it was a good one, is the Ellen DeGeneres campus for the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. Dian Fossey has been celebrating in Rwanda for 50 years. She was the one that first highlighted the need to take care of gorillas. And Ellen DeGeneres went to Rwanda and got so excited, she started her campus. So whether or not you get to go see the gorillas, whether or not you choose to trek with the gorillas, you will get immersed in what the gorillas mean to Rwanda. It is a huge source of income for the country because people want to come and see gorillas. I've hiked to see the gorillas, and Sarah has too, and she'll talk about that in a little bit. And in this day that we're going to spend, you're not only going to see what's going on with health, because I met the vice chancellor of the Global Health Equity Campus, and she graciously invited, she said, come and see what we're doing. So it'll be a wonderful day. And then since we're out in the countryside, we're going to stay out in the countryside. We're going to stay overnight in the country. Rwanda is a small country, but 3-4 hours in a bus can take its toll. So we're also going to be looking at how we can enjoy cultural events. Wait a minute, is this out of order? I think not. We're going to either do a cultural event out in the countryside, and anyone who is going to tour the gorillas can then leave from here and go over to the Virunga Mountains to start their tour the next day. And then we will head back to Kigali with everyone the next day, and for an opportunity to do some shopping, have a cultural day, and enjoy the beauty and culture and music of Rwanda. Then we head out. I was just talking to someone this morning and said, are you doing a safari? I said, matter of fact, we are. We're going to the Akagera Game Park, and we're going to see the animals out in the wild. As you can see, we are caged, not them. And it's an opportunity to see these animals up close. We're going to stay at the Akagera Game Park for 2 nights because the tour will take most of one day. Again, it can be tiring, and I want you to enjoy this gorgeous resort and be out in the country and see a part of Rwanda we had yet to see. So that is a different direction than the Dian Fossey Museum. And so we're going to be all over this beautiful country. And by the way, I didn't mention it earlier, it is called the Land of 1,000 Hills. And it is said that Rwanda is so beautiful that during the day, God works in the world, and at night, he comes home to sleep in the hills of Rwanda. It is a beautiful country, so you'll love the countryside that we see. And then after the second day here, we head back to Kigali for our final day, our final night, and you can stroll the city, catch up on any shopping you want to do, and then we'll have a celebration dinner with all of our partners, invite them all, and have a chance to connect as a group, and we'll have plenty of time to do that. And then the next day, you travel home. Now, we have an optional event, and It's the gorilla trek. And if Sarah could come back on stage for a minute. Sarah, do you want to talk about your experience hiking to see the gorillas? Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And then,
So,
sorry, James, we'll get to that. We'll go back to the Akagera video as soon as Sarah's done. Go ahead,
Sure.
Sarah.
So you wake up very early in order to go and hike to see the gorillas, because it's not a drive to see the gorillas. It really is a hike. And you'll be put with some guides who have already gone up the mountain, found the family that they're going to take you to, come back down to pick you up, and then are going back up for their second time. And there are different levels of groups. You can join like the I want to do a short walk or I want to hike all day. I chose, I think maybe it was the middle group, where I was willing to hike a bit but didn't want to be out for 8 hours. So we hiked up, and you go through all the different landscape, and you have to wear long pants and long sleeve because there's lots of, I think it was stinging nettles or
Oh yeah,
something
there's stinging
similar to
nettles.
that. And then suddenly you're just hiking and you're thinking it's never going to end and you're never going to see gorillas. And then suddenly it's totally silent, and you look up and there's a gorilla, I don't know how many feet in front of you, but way closer than you have ever thought that you could get close to a gorilla. And you spend some time with them, interacting, and you're totally safe. They have guides with you. And as Vicky experienced, if the gorilla looks like it's getting too close to you, the guide steps in between the two of you, and the gorillas have a respect for these guides because they know them on a regular basis. And the gorillas realizes like, okay, I should back down and just sit over here and chill. But it is a life-changing experience. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And then you hike back down at the end of the day, and it is exhausting, but amazing. And some people choose the easy trip and walk for like 5 minutes.
15.
Maybe you hike 10 minutes.
15. I got so lucky in my group. I went with the old people, take it easy group. And you also have someone with you. So you have a guide that's standing next to you. He helps you over the rocks. You have a stick with a nice carved gorilla head on it. That's lovely. I would have taken one of those, but I couldn't figure out how to get it in my luggage. And they're right there to help you. So you don't have to worry if you're not super athletic. It's okay. So anyway, we were warned, that could be hours. Sarah, you hiked for 5 hours?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. 15 minutes. Didn't even get to the stinging nettles. And the guides were like, we have never seen this happen before. I was thrilled. A baby gorilla, there were twin babies in our family, broke away from the parents and came around the back of us. I was with a girlfriend hiking, and I thought she hit my leg, and I looked down, and it's this little baby gorilla running past me like a little kid. It's adorable. And Sarah went the day she landed, or right when don't do that. I'm just telling you.
Learn from my mistake.
You are hiring us to take you on this tour and take good care of you. And so you go, this is why I'm kind of putting the hike in the middle of the trip. The people who landed and hiked were beat with a stick for a couple of days. It's just exhausting.
Yes.
So the cost of this piece is not included in our trip, and it's $1,500 for the ticket to get to see the gorillas. They only sell so many a day, so we have to get those for you. They're non-refundable, so I want you to make sure you want to go. But if you wait too long to get your ticket, you might not be able to get it. Because we're going to be over in that area, we can get you over to the park. You'll stay overnight in a hotel, so you're there first thing in the morning, and then we'll get you back to Kigali. So, and you'll need a hotel, and the hotel's not included. I don't know how I'm going to handle transportation coming back. We may wait for you, and you can go with us, or you may come back on your own, but it is well worth it. It's a once in a lifetime experience. Some people do it more than once. I don't have the change for that. So I'm good. I've seen them. I'm really excited about going to the Diane Fossey Museum and getting in. When you see the gorillas, you get a little tour, But this is about the history of the gorillas, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot. And maybe next time you'll want to see the gorillas because you'll get all excited. So it's a really, really good opportunity to see the gorillas. And there's a picture of Sarah and our friend Arthur.
And you can see how close the gorillas are.
Super close. Super close.
It's amazing.
Sarah, you're looking good there. What was that, 20 years ago or something? 18?
Yes.
And now you got kids of your own, and it's like, holy smokes. All right. So I'm going to talk about the price of the trip now. And if you're ready to join us, there are, before I do this, let me go back. James, could you show the Akagera Game Park? That's really an important one. Sorry, I missed it. I got to get my notes fixed. Thank you, James. It's so beautiful. We're not going to visit all those places, but you get an idea of what's possible. So now let me talk a little bit about the price. So I'm offering a $500 discount. Oh, that should say April 30th. $500 discount through April 30th and an additional $150 bonus discount through tomorrow night at midnight. The price of the trip for a single is $6,125. That includes everything but a gorilla trek and your airfare. Super reasonable. I've had friends look at trips to Africa and it was like $30,000 for 10 days. So this is not, we're staying in a really beautiful place. It's not 5-star. I don't really like doing that in these places, but it's beautiful. It's clean. It's got air conditioning. So everything is set for you on this trip. And the $6,125 is less $500 and less $150 if you sign up by tomorrow night. Now to sign up, you just need to put a deposit down of $1,000. If you're double occupancy, it's $5,750, and that's a double room plus $500 off plus $150 bonus. You put in bonus $150 in the coupon code area. If you don't know about that or you can't remember, you can email me and I'll get it to you. But it's a deal. And so you have a chance to save $650 on this trip. And all you have to do is deposit $1,000. Now, for those of you who are not sure, I have this view that we should not make this like, oh, I signed up, I can't afford it. I hear from so many people, I can't get my money back. Well, guess what? You can get your money back through August 15th. 100%, no discount. I'm not trying to make this hard. I'm trying to make it attractive. And if you even think that you want to go, make the deposit. You have until August 15th to cancel. We're going to be having meetings like Aranka said to get to know each other. answer your questions. I've got resources to get you for travel, talk about vaccinations you might need, and get you updated on everything to make this trip powerful and fun and not a lot of work for you. All you have to do is show up with an open heart and a desire to learn. And so what we're going to do is give you this opportunity. That's kind of it. That's all I got. I got $500 discount through the 30th of April. You can scan the code, or you can go to Rwanda 2020 trip 2025, Rwanda travel 2025.com, and just make a deposit. We would love to have you join us. And if we could bring everybody back up on stage for a minute. Adoranka, what are your thoughts? What are your closing thoughts?
Vicki, I just want to say that encourage everybody to take advantage of the discount. To even if you're a little timid about traveling by yourself, don't be. You'll meet friends along the way. You'll know us really well by the time we get there. And this is going to be an absolutely amazing adventure. And it will be a true gift to yourself to take this opportunity to join us. And as Vicki has said, once you arrive, you won't have to do anything. Everything else will be taken care of.
Yes, thank you. Sarah.
I also wanted to encourage people who are sort of on the fence. If you have any questions, please send us emails. There are no silly questions. We've probably had them ourselves, our first trip to Rwanda. So send them our way so that we can help you determine if this is the right trip for you.
Yeah.
But I really do want to tell you that if you think that it's the right trip for you, I can basically guarantee that you will love it, because I have not been able to stop going back. And I have been around the world, literally around the world, to over 54 countries. And this is the only country that I continue to go back to. So,
and they continue to welcome you with open arms. Christoph, what would you like to say in closing?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you all for this webinar. And I'm looking forward to be a professional photographer from Aderonke in October. And I guess I will not be the only one. All the people who will be in the trip will be excited to learn more from her. And I would like to thank you in advance for the support you will be extending to our charity, and you will be actually helping to transform Rwanda and the world at the same time. Thank you for that.
Miracles Ichani. Thank you very much, Christoph. I'd like to finish with, James, if you could run my email down at the bottom of the screen, so anyone wants to contact me. It's also Sarah at Rwanda2025.com, at Adoranka at Rwanda2025.com. But if you send it to me, I'll share it with them as well. And I just want to thank you all for being here today. Sarah, we have had such an incredible friendship over the years. And Adoranka, you are my newest friend, but what a great partner in this. And you're so engaged and so passionate. And Christoph, to watch you, you were a young guy when I met you 20 years ago. And I was a lot younger too, so there you go. But to watch what you have done and how you have transformed, you were always amazing, which I recognized right away. But I am so proud of you and everything that you're accomplishing. And you've got children, you're married. We went to the wedding years ago, and yeah, you have three children, right? 4. Whoops. You have 4 children, and you're such a blessing. You're such a blessing. So if there are no questions online, I'd like to end with a video. And again, you can see the scan code on my screen, or go to Rwanda2025.com and sign up. What do you have to lose except having a most amazing experience that you could imagine in 2025? So with that, we will say goodbye. And James, thank you for all your support as our engineer extraordinaire. I love how you run this meeting for us, this webinar for us. So thank you very much. And if you could show the final video, that would be great.
Bye, everybody.
We are now in Volcanoes National Park. It's a home of the Big Five. It's very important to conserve and protect the park and keep the nature as it is.
Its conservation story is so inspiring. The biodiversity and habitats change throughout the park.
Oh, see this elephant. It's a little bit of a surprise. I fell in love in Kigali. It's a very clean city. I think that inspired me to open the business here. Kigali's international events bring a lot of diversity. Everywhere you go, you are welcome. The food scene in Rwanda is amazing. From farm to table in Kigali, people like to enjoy life. This was my dream since I was a kid. Walking with the gorillas every day. You hear? These are the gorillas breaking the trees. Come. That's the silverback. The people, they are very happy to see the tourists coming. It's a big support to the conservation of these gorillas for the future generation.
Nyungwe is one of 4 national parks here in Rwanda. For tourists to come here, they participate also in conservation, which also helps us protect the forest.
There is something really magical about the Nyungwe National Forest, and it's unspoilt. It's natural, rare beauty. What makes it extra special establishing a resort here is that we work very closely with the community, and it's a really authentic experience for the guests. We are very lucky. This is our little piece of heaven.
Rwanda is called the land of 1,000 hills, from the east to the west. We are at Lake Kivu. It's one of the largest lakes in Africa. The sky meets the lake. It's a place that everybody should really visit. Welcome to Rwanda.